All right, Mitch got his act together. Simply said, take off the suit, coat, and it will show. The red color show. This webcam, wow, really takes you a long way. But all the other stuff I said about anxiety and OCD and panic and depression, what should you do if you have a family member? So I'll say I have a twin who has it, and I don't, but I have all the knowledge. And it's hard. You have to have incredible patience, first of all, and you do have to have some kind of compromise going on. I remember I was really freaking out on Euclid Avenue once. My brother was down in medical school, and my dad was there for some reason, and they wanted to go to a sit-down restaurant. Well, I knew that if I was at level 7, level 8, then I would literally be at level 10 if I had to sit in a restaurant for 2 hours or an hour and a half. So I told this to my dad, and he just kind of mumbled. I just wondered what he said behind my back. And we ended up going to McDonald's as a compromise. So there's tons of compromise involved. And I think the empathy comes hard if you can't relate to it. It's hard to have empathy for someone who's mentally ill if you have no schema for what that feels like or what that is. Well, the brain is an organ. It's the most complicated organ in the known universe. So it's subject to pathos, and that should be so obvious, but culture after culture has stigmatized the mentally ill. I went to the Cleveland Art Museum, great museum. They have one of the 12 thinkers, a guy like that, and which has been vandalized several times over the years with buckets of paint. But I went to a section that had drawings, and this guy went into an asylum in the 1800s and drew figures as they were treated, and it was absolutely horrific. Tied up, gagged, almost tortured. So we don't want any of that stigmatization going on. So act normal, even though you don't think it's normal. That is helpful to the OCD, anxiety, panic, depression. And then when it's time to talk, listen. Don't be giving advice. Oh, you just need to be more ambitious, Sean. Or, oh, you're lazy. That's not the time for advice when someone is pouring their heart out to you, telling you that they're demons. It's not the time to offer a cure in their brilliant 3 sentences of rebuke. It's not going to happen. I'd say accompanying the person is extremely powerful. And say you want to do a desensitization to the Barnes & Nobles. Giant store, fluorescent lights, book after book. It drives anxiety levels high for normal people, but for someone with OCD, anxiety, depression, it's going to panic. It's going to really be difficult the first times you try to do this. And so if you have a companion, someone you can focus on, someone who can literally hold your hand if you have to, and make 2 laps around, and depending on how you feel, maybe that's it for the night. Maybe you can stay longer. Maybe you can go sit by the fireplace in the lounge and stack some magazines. So accompanying or being a companion is really key to a family member and someone with OCD. Unfortunately, a lot of the people have OCD because of a dysfunctional family to begin with. I was abused as an infant. I was left alone at 2 and 3, and I knew it. And I screamed, and that's kind of the source of all my situation. I believe I had the predisposition, but then the environmental factors of just utter night terror. And I was old enough to speak because I would cry out for my Grandma Annie when I was having this night terror. And so the predisposition coupled with the environment is what caused every bit of mental illness that I think I have. And that's a tough duo to treat. But as I say, there are things family members can do. And we'll just leave it at that. Sit up more in a chair. Sure.